Welcome to another episode of the Write and Inspire Rawcast. I'm on another creativity walk. It's a beautiful sunny day, and again I'm on my lunch walk today. Started working really early this morning so that I have time to record this podcast in my lunch break and I don't miss out too much working, because it's been a super busy coaching season and coaching period, which is why I haven't been getting out too many podcasts at the moment. But if you enjoy my podcast, then consider buying me a coffee or becoming a patron to help me pay for the hosting of this podcast. Today I want to talk about self-care, and I want to give you an easy to follow formula to help get out of negative emotions. These could be negative emotions, or let's call them difficult emotions, such as frustration while practicing skills, or frustration because you feel like you're not good enough for the group you're writing with, or maybe just general overwhelm, which is what I've been feeling sometimes because I have just been working too much and taking too little time for myself. And I have these amazing ideas and projects and I want to get them done all at once, and then I feel overwhelmed because the time is just not enough. And this method really helps me to deal with these difficult emotions. When we encounter difficult emotions, the most important step is always to stabilize our nervous system as a first move. Because when we're overwhelmed, so when our nervous system is overwhelmed, then we can't think logically. So it will not be possible to think yourself calm. I'm sure you've experienced this, that when you're anxious or very nervous and you're like, yeah, just calm down, it's not going to help, right? So you cannot think yourself calm. However, by using a few tools, you can help yourself to feel calm again, and you can balance your nervous system. So I'm going to share 3 letters with you. These are A, B, C. This acronym will hopefully help you to deal with negative emotions faster and will help you to get out of negative thought loops faster as well. So A, B, C. The A stands for accepting, allowing, and acknowledging. Usually when we are in this negative self-talk loop, the last thing we want to do is accept it and acknowledge it, because we just want the negative feeling to go away. I know this, I've been there. And especially when I feel overwhelmed, I'll be like, oh, no, I'm fine. I can keep going and everything is good. So I just don't want to stop and acknowledge the feeling that I'm having. In psychology, we use a very effective method that is called name it to tame it. So you name the feeling first, which helps you to acknowledge it, and also it can increase emotional regulation. An example of this could be, I notice that anxiety is here, or I notice that anger is here. Phrasing it like this really puts it out of your body, that you are not angry, but anger is here. Because by saying I am angry, it's this part of yourself that you can't just let behind you because it's part of you. So by impersonating it, it's harder to let it go. But by saying I notice that anger is here, okay, this is something that is here at the moment, but I can let go of it. So I am able to separate this feeling from myself. It might sound like something unimportant, but actually it has been proven that saying things such as I am angry can increase the load of the emotion and can make it harder to let go of it. So really saying I notice that anger is here or overwhelm is here, that may help. Also, the third person voice can be helpful to gain a bit of distance, especially if things feel particularly intense. For example, I noticed that Roxy is feeling very frustrated at the moment. Putting this third person view on it really gives you that distance and also gives you a way to look at yourself in a more empathetic way, because often we don't look at ourselves in a very empathetic and compassionate way. We are much more compassionate towards others than we are to ourselves. And putting that third person view really helps us to give ourselves the compassion we would give another person. Again, step A, so the ABC Part A is acknowledging, accepting, and allowing. So really allowing that emotion and using that sentence, I notice that overwhelm is here. So whatever the feeling is. And if it's very intense, you may notice, or you may say, I notice that your name is feeling anxiety. The next step is the B. B stands for bring balance into your nervous system. I already have an episode about this. I'm going to link it below. But the technique that I use and that most of my clients find the most effective is the breathing technique of either 3-6 or 4-8. So breathe in to the count of 3 or 4 and breathe out to the count of 6 or 8. And this immediately steadies and stabilizes your nervous system because it's a bridge to your nervous system. As I said, you cannot think yourself calm, but breathing can really bring stabilization into your nervous system. So bring balance is the B. What might also help is softening your muscles, tension on purpose, sitting upright, engaging in mindfulness or massaging yourself a little bit. Find whatever works for you, but think B is that bringing balance, and it's essential for your thinking mind to kick back in again, for the emotions to let go of your logic mind. And then the next step in the ABC is the C. However, it's actually to see, so SEE. See what is needed. After having taken a few moments to interrupt your survival circuits, you can now see what you actually need and what's going on. It can also help here to bring back that bird's eye vision, so to think of yourself as a third person, to maybe even close your eyes, look at yourself like you were an outsider and see what does Roxy need this moment, and to really allow yourself that moment and allow yourself to take what you need. When I feel overwhelmed, then for me it feels often it's very hard to allow myself that moment to just breathe and do nothing, because often I think I need to do things to be valuable, and I need to give and provide value to be valuable. And for me, the first step was really noticing that it's absolutely okay to do nothing sometimes, that everything comes in seasons, that, for example, trees will lose all their leaves once a year, some trees, and then they will have all their leaves again after, that it cycles, or that the sea will come and go, there's tides, and all that really helped me to acknowledge that I don't need to go full throttle all the time. It's absolutely okay to sometimes slow down, to do nothing, and that I'm still valuable when I don't do anything. And this ABC method really helps me with that when I start to get overwhelmed again. So this, of course, will help on the bike, but it will also help to deal with any other overwhelming emotions. And I hope this episode helped you. Let me know by giving me a rating and by sharing the podcast. And also, if you'd like to support me, then you will find the links below. That's all I've got for you today in this episode. Sending you a lot of love from Spain, your Roxy.